Installing a diamond 3-point boom mower for the first time can be a little challenging, but after the first time, it is easily installed and removed. The first thing that should be done is remove the boxes of parts strapped to the frame and open them up. The boxes contain the joystick and stands, the switch box, the PTO shaft, and the operator's manual. Read the manual in its entirety before starting the installation. Set the rear tires on the tractor all the way out. This gives the widest stance and will make the tractor much more stable. To add stability, you can also fluid fill the left-hand tire or add optional weights. A heavy-duty 3-point boom will require a 1000 RPM PTO shaft. A standard duty will require a 540 RPM shaft. Make sure that your tractor is set up accordingly. Finally, make sure that the 3-point arms are set to the non-float position. Pick the 3-point boom up off the ground and attach it to the tractor with the lower arms. A forklift or something similar greatly helps this part. The top link needs to be tied into the stabilizer arms either by using the saddle or directly. The top link should be adjusted so that the boom unit is level front to back or leaning slightly forward, and the 3-point arms should be adjusted so that the right-hand side is higher than the left. Adjust the height of the 3-point boom so that the PTO shaft and the pump shaft are roughly level with each other. Make sure it is not so low that the back of the unit will drag. Pull the PTO shaft apart, remove the plastic cover, hook one end up to the tractor's shaft and the other to the pump shaft, and lay them beside each other, then mark. Cutting the PTO shaft to the right length can be tricky. Remember, you can always cut a little more off, but you can't put it back on. Taking into account where the shaft will bottom out when it's fully collapsed, mark both shafts and cut them down. Take an equal amount off of the shields. Deburr the PTO shaft around the cut ends, reinstall the plastic shield, and put the two halves back together. Because we cut the shaft as long as possible, you will not be able to install the shaft the way that it is currently sitting. Extend the top link a little until you can slide the shaft onto the PTO side, then attach on the pump using the blue Loctite that's included with the PTO shaft. Don't forget the pump side shield. After the PTO shaft is installed, adjust the lower 3-point arms so that they don't sway. Then adjust the stabilizer arms so that the right one is pulling up and the left one is pushing down. Now that the 3-point unit is mounted, let's focus on the inside of the cab. Disable the 3-point from moving by either disconnecting the linkage or removing the 3-point fuse. Next, assemble the joystick to its brackets and place in the cab. Find a location that's comfortable to operate the joystick and stays out of the way of your leg, your feet, and tractor controls. Once a good location is found, have someone hold the stand in place while you mark out the holes to drill. Pay attention to what's underneath the cab and underneath the mat. Some tractors have electronics or wiring harnesses that you need to avoid. Drill holes through the floor and using the spacers provided, mount the joystick stand. The location of the switch box will also vary depending on what kind of tractor you're mounting to. Some have easy to find mounting holes, others might be a little more difficult to find. Call Diamond Service and Warranty if you need help finding a suitable location. Plug in the wiring harness as shown in the manual. Tie up the wires out of the way of any moving parts, including the PTO shaft. Set the head off to the side of the 3-point unit and extend the boom arm out to it. Get the boom as close as you can. You can use a line-up bar and a floor jack to get it perfectly lined up. Drive in the 2 pins. Next, attach the hoses. Reference the manual to make sure it gets hooked up correctly. The return line goes on the bottom, and the pressure line goes on the top. Finally, here's the K-string. Lastly, test the unit to make sure that everything moves correctly. Move the unit in every direction, check the hoses to make sure they don't rub, and turn on the deck to make sure that it runs in the right direction.